So week 3, where's the time going already? It's a busy old time, isn't it? There we are thinking summer's going to be quiet. For some of us, it's a bit of a catch-up opportunity, and for others, it is trying to get ahead for the rest of the year. Now, I'm just going to pop you on mute, Sandy, just for now, just for the recording. Okay. So we wanted to keep an eye on our progress over the weeks. So if you could use the chat box, that would be fantastic, to give me a little bit of a temperature check on how you're feeling about it. Here we are, 9th of August. How many days a week have you posted this week? How often are you engaging? Now, it doesn't have to be absolutely precise, but if you've got a rough idea, you can see whether you are doing more, and whether those numbers are changing on your SSI. I don't know whether anyone has looked at that again, or whether we just look at that at the end of the 4 weeks. How often are you commenting on people's posts? Are you noticing things out there that are really relevant to you? Are you noticing other people either posting something similar to what you work on, or the people in the target market of where you aim to deliver your services? So do make sure that you're in there commenting and letting people know that you've got either similar values and beliefs, or whether you can add some contribution of value to the conversation, that people can think, okay, she knows what she's talking about. And there we are. And have you given any more recommendations this week? Have you thought about that? And it would be lovely to know if you've had any in return. So let's see, just a little reminder, this is why we're doing this. We're not just doing it to mess around for 4 weeks. We are trying to make an impact on our LinkedIn account. We're trying to make an impact on the number of leads we can generate. And in turn, we want to be nurturing those leads so that we can see sales coming through. We're not just spending our money on this program for just taking part. We want to actually see the results from it. And I think the majority of us don't really want to pay somebody to do it for us, because we know how much it's going to be. Maybe that's something we can look forward to in the future, when we've got lots and lots of money coming in, but we need to be nurturing those leads ourselves, particularly at this early stage. So week 1, we looked at getting some engagement, getting out there, starting to post. Last week, we were very much looking at setting your account up so that it was optimized, so that people could understand what you did. Has everybody got a video in place now? Has everyone got a pronunciation feature? Has that been done yet? The voice note on there. So this week I wanted to look at the art of messaging, and then next week we'll come on to navigating your notifications and any other things that we feel we want to sort of mop up with, and we will touch on groups later on at the end. So when we're thinking about our messaging, we need to be meeting our clients where they are at. Now, we all know that people are at different stages of their own journey, and they may be at different stages of their journey when they find you. Some of them you may have, be reaching out to a completely cold audience of people who you don't know. And so you've got to be getting those early stages, that kind of introducing yourself, introducing what you do, to those people who don't know about you already. Then we need to look at our warm leads. These are people who may have been liking or commenting our posts. They may be in our sort of sphere. Maybe they've noticed what we've been posting. They've maybe noticed some videos we've put out. You may even go to some networking events where people say, oh yes, I've seen your videos and I've seen your posts and I like what you're talking about, and that really resonates with me. All of those kind of things. Maybe they've been watching your Facebook lives, maybe they listen to your podcast, or whatever activity you've got going on, or maybe you've been in other people's groups and you've presented in those groups. So those kind of people are then warm leads. And then, of course, you've got your hot leads, those people who have actually started interacting with you. They are interested in what you've got to say. You can tell that from the way that they are responding on your post, the kind of questions that they're asking, and you may even have started messaging them directly. And it's interesting, really, we think about taking things to a private direct message so that we can you know, have that one-on-one conversation with them. But it is quite key to remember that if you can keep your conversations on your main posts for as long as possible, then other people can benefit from the questions and the answers that are given. And, you know, there may well be people in your audience who were asking the same question in their head, but didn't actually put it down on paper. And then they can see that you've answered it for them. So they are automatically getting value from you without you knowing, because you are on your sort of one-to-many marketing journey. You're being able to explain to the masses, whether the masses are 2 people or 10 or 100 or whatever that number is. But you are able to impact more people when you keep your messaging on the sort of open platform, if you like. But we do reach a point where we do want to have direct messages with people. And, you know, a lot of people on LinkedIn are open to a meetup because it's so easy to do on Zoom. It's not like they're committing to going out and meeting you in person, that they're quite happy to say, okay, well, let's give it half an hour. Let's see if we've got anything in common. Let's see if we've got any potential work that we know of. And it's not necessarily going to be the person we're interacting with, is it? We all know that they know lots of people as well, and there may well be somebody in their community. And I'm pretty sure that Sandy has said on a couple of occasions that even when she's been networking to a room of men and women, and her target market is women, the men are taking that message away as well, because it's been implanted here, and then they are sharing it with the women in their lives. So it's so important to keep remembering where all those touch points come in. And we kind of think about the pain points that we need to address. Excuse me, I obviously haven't talked enough today, drying up already. So again, thinking back to your customers and where they are in their journey, makes you consider what kind of messaging you want to put out. What kind of, if you're thinking about questions and putting market research out there, it may be people who are maybe thinking about your services. They don't really know what you do yet. So you're kind of wanting to share a bit about what you do to help them understand that they're in the right place, that this is where they can get help. This is a safe place for them. This person knows what they're talking about. They understand what you're going through, because it's all that, you know, being able to put yourself in their shoes so that they can see that you understand the challenges they're going through. I know we say pain points, not necessarily absolute pain, but challenges, and we all face challenges. And it just depends, you know, what is happening with us at the moment. So if you think about people in your customer journey, there'll be different pain points that they're facing early on to when they're on their way to getting ready to work with you, and those who are definitely ready to work with you. And it may be that you address those in terms of the offers that you make. So there could be like an initial offering that helps them get started. And I know Alexandra has done an ebook to, you know, help people understand a bit more about how she works and how she can help. So that's like your lower ticket price point. So you're talking about people who are maybe at the beginning part of their journey. And I know you have also got other things that are going on for different parts, in their journey. So it's thinking about, when you're putting your offers out, think about working backwards about how you can address the pain points that people are struggling with, that your solution is going to help them with. So it helps them move along their journey closer to you, because that's what we want them, closer to us. But also with our messaging, we've still got to keep it clear and simple. You know, clarity is key all the time. If there's ambiguity, people then think, oh, that's going to be too complicated to make a decision. Keep it as simple as it can be. You know, you can add in layers as you go through, but we're talking about sort of connecting with people and really helping them understand that we're the right person for them. So try not to get too clever with words. Try not to come up with some funny phraseology of what you think your solution is going to be for them, when actually it's quite straightforward, and they tend to appreciate the more straightforward language, and you'll get that connection happening more quickly, because you're not if you're too clever with the style of your language and people are then not understanding it, they'll think they're not the right person for me. So we're trying to help them get to the point where you are at the right stage, they're at the right stage to work with you. Okay. And we just did just cover that actually about, you know, when is it the right time to take that conversation slightly offline and have a one-to-one conversation. I think you probably will know, but it's best not to suddenly start direct messaging somebody straight away who doesn't know you. They probably want to keep it quite sort of public and informal to start with. And, you know, give them a chance to get to know you. Make sure you're properly connected first, and then, you know, before you go straight in. And I don't think there's anybody on this call who would go straight in and say, right, come on, let's have a Zoom call instantly, you know, but we might have an opportunity to work towards that. And I think that that is key. So we think about when you are going to do messaging in the messaging system, and then we can look at, you know, what kind of messaging you can do. So there is one of my favorites is the voicemail one. And, you know, it's just like leaving an answer phone message. So there's nothing scary about it. It's literally another way of communicating. But what's ideal about this is that if you don't know them that well yet, they can then see clearly, rather than a voice message that they'd get on their phone when they might think, who is this person? When did I meet them? If they have any doubt in their mind, they can see your profile and say, oh yes, I met them at that event, or we were on that same networking call, or whatever it was. But it helps jog their memory. So you've always got your picture there, you've always got a bit about your bio, and that helps them think, okay, now I know what I want to be talking to them about. In messaging, you can send pictures. I think you can send video, but I was having a look on the desktop version and it didn't have video on there, but I think you can on the mobile app. You can send PDFs, so if you've got documents of anything, or, you know, maybe you have a downloadable freebie that you've got as PDF format, but if you've already connected with them, you might want to just send them the PDF. So that all depends on how that all works out for you. So lots and lots of options for messaging, and I'm going to go to my iPhone screen share, because let me just put that on. I thought that we could have a little look, and then if you want to go through any of this as we do it, then you can. So, oh, I've got a message in the top. Okay, so this is somebody I met at a networking event. So we literally just connected, but it may be that I wanted to send him a message at the bottom. And I was talking with Sandy about messaging and the fact that she'd had quite a lot of activity on some of her posts. So obviously wanting to try and be efficient, because we don't want to be spending all our time with the same messages. There may be a number of messages, and we've used the text shortcut before. There may be some standard messages that you want to have ready loaded up on your text shortcuts, and that could change depending on what you're leading up to. So for example, Sandy, I know you've got your webinar next week, so it may be that you're wanting to direct them to that. So there could be a piece of text that you want to have ready to go in your text shortener with a link for them to register. And then it doesn't mean that you only put that in. If you feel that you need to add something else in, you could add a little quick something. But, you know, I mean, I tend to finish mine off now, with BW best wishes. So, you know, there you could put whatever it is you're going to put in there. We've got the attachments. So if we just clicked on the, if you missed that, that's just the paper clip in the corner. You see the, I don't think you do see the cursor on the screen, where you've got the little paper clip. If you open that, you'll see all of the, of course, we've got video in here. See, video is in mobile, but not desktop. So this is why it's useful to have both loaded up, because there is more functionality in on the mobile app. So I like the fact that you've got all of these. So send a document, maybe you've been working on something, or you've got a proposal that you wanted to send this way. You know, you might be using email, but if you did want to send something quickly and you're already in the Messenger app, then you might want to just send it over that way. And you've got your photo, video, and the jolly old GIF, because I know there are some people on this call who love a GIF or a GIF or whatever you want to call it. So messaging goes in there. Now, oops, let me just edit that and get rid of that, because that would look a bit odd to him if he saw that. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out, in the same way that I did with you guys, we've got a group, so you can type in several people. So we've got Sandy, and we've got Alexandra. There we go. And you just keep adding. I don't know what the maximum number is actually, but you know, if you've got a group event running or a collaboration or something like that, and you want to be adding people in and keep them on a thread that is consistent with whatever that event is, it's quite useful to keep them here together. And I know we've all got lots of different ways of messaging people. It is yet another way, you could look at it like that. But on the other hand, if you're connected with them in here, and I think for me, Facebook always feels a little bit more private, whereas I always think of LinkedIn as a bit more worky anyway. So I don't mind the sort of group thing in here. I think that works fine. But you know, it depends on you as a person and how you feel comfortable with it. But yeah, you can put a group message together that way. Okay. And you can, of course, you can record a message. So if you're really short of time and you just want to leave a voicemail, you've just got your little there to hold to record, and then you can either delete it or send it when you finish. Okay, I think, has everybody used that yet? I think so. Yes. Yeah. It's surprising what a difference it makes actually having that rather than text. So although I have, word of warning, I have had a couple of people say that they weren't able to pick up the message, and that could be that they had something in their settings that they hadn't allowed, or whoever's settings, maybe it was my settings, but I don't think it was, because some people are getting them, some people aren't. So okay. Yeah, so thinking about what you want to post, I might just jump over here. Let me come off the Zoom screen before I do that silly whiz bang psychedelic look. Let's bring my feed over here. Okay, let's go to desktop. So if you go into messaging on here, you'll see at the bottom, you've got pictures, attachments. If I click on attachments, that just opens my downloads. So pretty much anything on there. Okay. Again, you've got the GIF. This, the 3 dots here is just that change from send or enter. You've probably tried that, where it automatically is set to send when you do return, which is very annoying. So I've changed that on mine, so I can finish my message without sending it halfway through. Okay, so at that point I would like to sort of open up for questions and see. Let's go back to single presenter. Okay, let's drop this over here. Zoom. I can see you all again. Okay. So particular challenges. Did I address what we needed to? I might just unpin me for a minute. Move pin. And do come off mute. You would like to join in the conversation. Has anything come up there for anybody? Has it made you think about how you might respond differently or post differently, or anything that you might take from it? Stunned silence.
I'll just share, a conversation that Nicole and I had, in that I have a very active Facebook group, and I'm very comfortable posting in there, and I've been posting fairly regularly. And when I started to post in LinkedIn, I realized the way I described it is I'm still posting the same content, but I have a different accent, so to speak. So I have to just think a little bit differently about that audience being a much more professional audience, for lack of a better phrase. So it's just thinking about that a little bit. I want to just say one thing though, Nicola, about the getting a voice message. I had a provider, or I had somebody reach out to me via voice message, and it blew me away. Like, we're so not used to talking to people. And the fact that she reached out, and it was just, I had asked her a question about a lead magnet that I was trying to download, and she could just said, oh, here's the link, goodbye. And she just, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're excited about this. And here's where you're going to find it. And you have any questions, blah, 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 blah. And it was just, it made me a fan of her company.
It's the human connection, isn't it? It's,
absolutely.
I mean, I know video is different, but sometimes video can seem maybe a bit much for the first interaction, perhaps. But certainly, I've always got positive. Actually, I did get one negative message from somebody, and it was on Instagram. I had I sent a message, a written one, thank you for the follow.
Yeah.
And she wrote back, oh, I can't remember what she wrote back, but it was basically, she was not happy that I hadn't instantly followed her back, because she was basically doing the follow unfollow thing that goes on.
Wow.
And I think I put a message on, I did a voice message saying, oh, I was only thanking you for following me, but I can see you've unfollowed me already, so maybe it wasn't to be, or something. And she wrote me a message back at the bottom saying, oh, I'm not going to be bothered listening to that. And I thought, oh, okay, you can't please everybody all the time. But although you're getting that human connection, but it's quicker to record a voice message than it is to type something. I mean, I've done the voice type, voice text, but then sometimes you've got to go back and rewrite some of the wording in it, because it's not picked up quite right. So sometimes it's easier to just, but I do think it's, and when we're talking about all the information that people are being bombarded with and wanting to stand out, then certainly a voice message is going to make you stand out, because not many people are using this. And it's actually been available for well over a year. I'm trying to think back when it did come out. I can't remember specifically, but it's definitely been over a year. And I've maybe received 3 or 4. So if you are using it, you are really standing out above everybody else. And I think that can be very, very powerful.
Is there still a 1 minute limit on the message?
Do you know, there is a limit, but of course
it was 1 minute. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm not sure what it is now, because I used to message him back and forward, kind of on my walk with the dog, because it's easier than typing, as you say.
Yes.
But the fact that the message was only 1 minute, it was good and annoying at the same time. Good because you had to be very succinct and you had to just straight to the point.
Or you send more than one.
Yeah, I know, but it's terrible when you see like I've got so many messages. So I know Facebook recently changed it, and it's not a minute anymore on Facebook. I think it's up to 10 minutes now. Which
I will check that.
So much easier, but I don't know if it's LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, I'll check that for you.
Thank you.
I think it's as you say, you know, we're trying to fit so much in, and dog walking is I've always got my earphones in when I'm out dog walking, whether I'm listening to podcasts or speaking to somebody on the phone or whatever it is, but I do still try and use that time. There are times when I just think, no, I just want to switch off. But you know, often we're so busy trying to do all the things that wherever we can save some time, we do, don't we?
Yeah.
Now I've realised that I've slightly forgotten the question that Whitney had at the beginning. Didn't write it down. Does anybody else remember? Are you on? Are you on, Whitney? Are you there? I think she might be in.
No, I answered it earlier. My only other question was about external links.
External links. Well, certainly in messaging, that's no problem at all. External links you've got in the in your header, in your headline, then you can put your external link in there, because that's expected for your contact info, website, whatever. If you're putting them in a post, it doesn't affect the reach of them that much. But what I would say is don't use the preview. So when the link preview comes up, knock that off and put in a picture instead. Okay. And then it seems to work better that way. But, you know, I've listened to people who have got accounts with thousands and thousands, and they say that having a link in the post really doesn't make much difference. And the other thing to bear in mind is if somebody shares that post, if the link was in the comments, it doesn't go with it. The whole comment thread doesn't go with it. So yeah, it's better to put it in the post. But yeah, they're not quite so precious. Obviously they want you to stay on the platform, but they understand that people are sharing work things, and when work things are shared, you inevitably are going to need some external links. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on messaging? If not, I might just spend a quick few minutes looking at the business pages, because I know that we want to cover that one as well.
Yeah.
So if I just bring up, that should work. Let's hope it works. Desktop screen share. It's worked. Okay. It's the little things, you know, it's the little things. Okay, so when you have a business page, it's down the side here. So if I go into mine, which I haven't spent an awful lot of time in, I must be honest, you'll see again for setting it up, you've got the banner. So do use what you can. You may want to use exactly the same as you used before for your own, or you may want it to be slightly different. And I know some people have got slightly different offerings, so it may be more beneficial to have something slightly different on this one. I would try and stick that at least you've got a logo the same, because I think that's quite helpful to have a logo, so that it's familiar when they go from one to another. Now, one of the big things is you have your headline here, which I may need to change actually, because I don't think I've really changed that for a while. And in the same way as you could edit on the other one, you can edit your page here. And this brings all sorts of things in. But what we do want to do is we want to make sure that our personal account is linking back to this one. So when you've got your, you know, where do you work, make sure that it is linked to this account, and you do that, it will pick it up. It'll pick it up. I can show you that. So we've got website in here. Now I've actually decided that I want the URL to land on my services page. You may well want it to land on your home page, but have a think about where would be the ideal place for people to land. And this is the only site, the only place that I haven't got my link tree. So maybe I might consider putting my link tree in here, but at the moment that's what I've got. So you get an opportunity to answer a few, you know, like industry sector specific questions. and your specialities, you can add up to 20. And I've been a bit minimalistic with mine. And as you can see here, you've got 2,000 words, so you could put an awful lot more information in there. I'm looking at this now and feeling I need to go back and put some more things in there. But you might have seen this. This is interesting here, this lead gen form, because we're all about lead gen, aren't we? So if I click on here, collect leads on your page. So you are limited. Those are the options that you have. So request free demo, contact sales, start free trial, get started. So that is up to you which one of those you feel fits your call to action. I can't say it particularly fits my call to action, but I wanted something there. Now, I haven't actually got any leads in through this yet, but then my company page is quite small. So I think it's something that could grow in time, and there are new ways to grow it by having things like newsletters, which is outside the scope of this program, but you know, definitely something to consider, particularly if you already write blogs and things, because you could kind of make up some of the content from there without sort of starting from scratch all over again. Cool. So I've got there my headline. Again, we're quite limited on the number of characters we've got here, only 50 characters, and the body copy 200 characters. So I've kept it short, snappy, to the point. So I really want them to sign up for my create video cover story so that they'll end up on my email list. And you can see preview. I don't really know why the preview looks like that. It's not ideal, but there we are. That's got an asterisk. Okay, page info. Now, buttons. You have options on your buttons depending on what you would like them to do, and you could actually have sign up here if you wanted. I've got contact us, but you've got a few options there. I wouldn't go for visit website, because the website's there, they can click that and visit that. They don't really need to be necessarily encouraged to do that. I've got was that there before? Contact us. So I've actually put in my scheduling link should people want to book a session. So that's what I've chosen to put in there, but you can have a think about what is the most important step you'd like somebody to take with you. And, you know, thinking about this now, maybe I'd be better offering, you know, a short call rather than booking a session straight away, because somebody on here is possibly a cold lead, or maybe a warm lead, but not necessarily a hot one. So possibly I should change that. But, you know, you practice with these things and, you know, refine them as you go along. Again, you've got all your details in here that you can put in. I don't have a workplace. I have put location. And hashtags, the kind of hashtags up to 3 is what you get. The same when you do your creator, put your creator mode on. And then you can feature some groups. So I haven't added anything in there as yet. And I don't think I've joined any groups as a page. I've only joined as a person. But what you can do, this is what it looks like to you. And if you look at the top here, you'll see admin tools, but you can view it as a member so that you can check when you've done what you feel is right. You can check and see how other people see it. So you can see that, contact us. And I know this sounds ridiculous. Follow and click contact us. But I have been reliably informed that this increases the number of times people will click rather than just have contact us button. So that's something to bear in mind. And I am now going to change that. I'm not going to have that for a direct booking. I'm going to put something a little more friendly, perhaps, not quite such a barrier to get in touch. So that's quite important. So I'm going to go back to view as admin. And then you'll see that you've got analytics here. Mine are brilliant because I don't spend as much time on here as I should. As you can see, I haven't got my clicks on here because it's very similar content to what I'm putting on my personal page. And in fairness, people like to connect and engage more with the person, but it's something that is useful to have, because it gives a bit of, okay, so they've got the website attached and they've made the effort to make that company page. And because there are new opportunities coming through with the desktop, the business page version, with the newsletters and writing articles and things, it's definitely worth having that on your radar to have a business page. And if you haven't, like me, looked at it for a while, then maybe now's a good time to have a little check through and see whether it still fits, because this thing, we evolve, don't we, all the time. We're constantly looking for, you know, how can we make this service better? How, you know, can we help people in a different way? Or maybe we just think, actually, I've been doing that service, I don't really enjoy doing that, but I really like this bit over here. So you're possibly cutting something out and putting something new in. And we all do that. I think all businesses do that. I think that's perfectly sound practice to do that. So you've got your analytics here. Visitors, updates, followers. So for those of you who love data, this is brilliant for you. You can also look at competitors, which I haven't done really very much of, but we could do just for a laugh. I don't know who these people are.
Does LinkedIn find those for you, or do you have to identify?
No, LinkedIn has just found these. I don't know any of these people. Actually, T3 Pharmacy Design, I do. Start by editing your page to track and benchmark your page's performance. Okay, so I probably need to add some pages in to be benchmarking those. What's this say? Continue. I haven't actually done this one, so it's quite interesting. We're unable to save this change right now. Okay, right.
I think you're right, because I've got no competitors on mine, and just says no competitors added yet. Search to add competitor pages to benchmark your performance.
Right, right. I mean, really, it would be more relevant for me to put in people I know who are doing the same thing as me, and then that would, I don't know, I don't think they get a notification to say that you're watching them. I've never received any notifications to say that. This content one here, this is trending articles. So you may think, actually, I'd like to comment on something like this because this is what people are talking about all the time, and I want my view to be shared on this. So you can sort of just share them and put your comment. Don't just share. It's always better to put a comment in as well, so that people can see why you're sharing it, why it's relevant to you, and what you've got to say about it. So do consider doing those. Back in the analytics, I was just going to show you things like visitors. So visitors to the page. Yeah, so you cannot invite people. You can see the job function therein. Let's just get rid of that. So if you go back to home, I mean, this is the best thing to do to get started with it, is really start growing. And you get 250 credits each month. If you run more than one page, then those credits, any invites you send for one page do count on your total. So if you're trying to grow somebody else's page, which I'm often using mine up for that, then then do bear that in mind. But that's simply a matter of invite connections, and then you can see down here, and it just, well, you can search by name. So if you know the people you would like to invite, maybe you want to just get started with a few people you know who would support you already, and then you can just search by name. Okay, so let's go down here. I've just, so if you were to click on one's there already, it just jumps into here, and then you can just say invite one. Okay, and it will always say, you know, do you want to write a post now? So I need to get writing a post, but you could go through. So I could say, let's do Leicester, because that's where I am, and it will be easier. And you don't need to worry about inviting somebody twice because it's already got invited next to them. Okay, so that's inviting connections to help grow your page. You can tag people as long as you're doing this on the LinkedIn app. If you start using a third-party scheduler, it's not always easy to. In fact, most won't let you tag an individual in on a company page post, but you can usually tag in on your own post. I noticed this week it changed. I used Buffer for one of my clients and I wasn't able to tag other businesses from their company page, but actually now you can. It's a bit long-winded. You have to have LinkedIn open on another page, find them, get their URL, and then pop the URL in and it'll change it to a highlighted blue name. So it tags them that way. So there may be different things with the different types of software you use, but quite honestly, it's just as easy to do it in the app. Okay, so I think that's probably enough on pages, because I don't want you thinking, oh my God, I've got to do my page as well as my account. But it's something to be aware of, something that's there, and something that you can use. I think that's the key to remember. These are all tools to help you in your business, and it depends on the way you want to use them. Okay, and I'll just lastly go back. I did, following our call last week, I did set up a group. I haven't done anything else with it yet because I'm thinking about what I need to do with it, because I don't feel I can do it right on the spur of the moment. So this is my little group, saying what it is exactly, no fluff and guessing. I have yet to add my logo, and I haven't done anything else with it. And then it'd be a matter of inviting connections. So I need to think about whether this is to be a public group or whether I want it to be a private group that I could run with, people like you who have joined this training and would like to stay in touch and learn a bit more. So I'm just trying to get my head around what it's all for, and how I can serve people through that. And that's where that will come in. Did I send this to you last time? I can't remember if I did. This best practice. Always good to have some of these. Let me just put in the chat. Okay. All right, let's go back up to this one here. Okay. So I hope I haven't bombarded you. Let's have a quick look at the chat. Let's see. All 4 days and did my video. Well done, Whitney. Almost daily. Fantastic, Mr. Dave last week. My post about tomatoes and Nikki selling did well. It's amazing, isn't it? I received a lovely record. Oh, made me teary-eyed. Oh, yes, it's quite emotional, isn't it, when you find out what people think of you? Yeah.
I was just going to say thank you, Nicole. I just did a little bit of multitasking and actually added my webinar next week as an event to my business page. So
oh, well done. Well, this is good because you're using this hour effectively. I want to, that's really, really good.
I'm working on LinkedIn, not something totally different.
Yes. So the event, what stage have you got to? Are you ready to start sharing it? Yeah. Good. Oh, you're on mute.
I did a post yesterday.
Yeah.
About the event on LinkedIn. I just added it as an event to my business page, and I reached out to a couple of colleagues and just said, hey, can you like and share this post for me?
Fab. That's
so
the way to do it.
If any of you want to pop in later today and share the
yes,
post, be appreciative.
We'll definitely do that. Alexandra, what have you got coming up?
Oh, nothing. Nothing. At the moment, webinar probably, but it will be in September. August is not a good month for doing things like like this.
Not long though, is it?
timelines.
September's almost
No.
here.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's so shocking how quickly the time's going. It's a bit scary. It is. It is. Any questions around that? Is there anything that you want me to look out for? I'm going to check on the length of time messaging for next week. Next week, I really want to get into the back end of it, because we receive all sorts of notifications and rubbish, and there's so much in the back end that we can adjust to make it fit what we want, so that it works for us, not on the time schedule that the that LinkedIn wants it to work on, because they'd like you to be in there all the time, like every other platform. We simply haven't got the time for that. We need to be getting on and delivering our good stuff. But I think it's also key that we need to try, I think for a lot of us, we're very good at consuming as well as delivering content. And it's almost trying to switch that balance around, so we consume slightly less and we deliver slightly more. Even if it's a matter of sharing other people's content, because then, you know, we're putting our spin on that. We're helping somebody else get more eyes on their post as well. So, you know, that's a nice thing to do from that point of view. But also it saves you from having to come up with something brand new all the time. And remember, you have got those pre-written posts if you get completely stuck and you want to use those. So just fire away with those. Okay, bye.
Bye.